Most people think genius is something you're born with, like it's a rare gift that only a few people receive. Like Einstein, Tesla, or great artists were created with something extra that the rest of us don't have. But what if that's not true? What if genius is not a personality trait, but a frequency? And what if the reason most people never access their genius is because they're constantly tuned into the wrong channel? Have you ever noticed how some days your brain feels heavy? Like even small tasks feel difficult. You forget things. You can't focus. You can't create. You feel mentally slow, even though you know you're not lazy or unintelligent. And then there are other days where everything feels sharp. Your mind connects ideas instantly. You understand things faster. You feel creative. You feel like you're finally in your power. That shift is not random. That shift is your state. And your state is your frequency. This is where the quantum part comes in. In quantum physics, particles behave differently depending on observation. Reality doesn't settle until it is interacted with. Now, I'm not here to turn this into a complicated science lesson, but I want you to understand one simple truth. Reality responds to the state you are in, not the words you speak. Most people try to manifest with words. They repeat affirmations. They force positivity. They say, I am successful, I am rich, I am confident. But deep down, their frequency is still fear. Their frequency is still stress. Their frequency is still insecurity. So reality doesn't respond to the words. It responds to the frequency behind the words. That's why so many people feel stuck. They say they want change, but their energy is still locked in survival mode. Survival mode is when your brain is not focused on creating, expanding, or building something meaningful. It's focused on protection. It's focused on what could go wrong. It's focused on how people might judge you. It's focused on what you don't have. And when you're living in survival mode, you literally cannot access your highest intelligence. Think about your best moments in life. The moments where you made the best decisions, where you felt clarity, where you suddenly knew what to do. Those moments didn't happen when you were panicking. They didn't happen when you were overthinking. They didn't happen when you were surrounded by noise. They happened when you were calm, when you were focused, when you were present. That calm focus is a doorway into what I call genius consciousness. Genius consciousness is not just being smart. It's a higher mental state where your brain becomes coherent. Your thoughts become clean. Your emotions stop fighting each other. Your nervous system relaxes. And suddenly, your intelligence expands. This is why people often get their best ideas in the shower right before sleep, while walking alone or while driving. Not because those places are magical, but because in those moments, your mind is less overstimulated. Your brain is quieter. And genius requires quiet. Here's something nobody tells you. Genius is not created by thinking more. Genius is created by thinking less but deeper. Most people are constantly thinking, but their thoughts are scattered, repetitive, and shallow. That is not intelligence. That is noise. And the modern world is designed to keep you in noise. Your phone, notifications, social media, gossip, constant comparison, deadlines, and stress. All of it keeps you vibrating in survival frequency. And when you stay there for too long, your mind starts to shrink. This is why people feel like they have lost themselves. This is why they feel unmotivated. This is why they feel blocked. It's not because they have no potential. It's because their frequency is too chaotic to access their potential. You can't download genius ideas on a weak signal. You can't access higher consciousness while your nervous system is constantly in fight or flight. Now here's the part that changes everything. There is a specific state where your mind becomes synchronized, where your inner world becomes aligned, where your thoughts, emotions, and body start moving in the same direction. When that happens, you stop leaking energy. You stop doubting every step. You stop being split into fear, insecurity, and overthinking. And once your energy becomes whole, your mind becomes brilliant. This state is called coherence. Coherence is the real quantum code. Because when you become coherent, you become magnetic. Your actions become sharper. Your intuition becomes stronger. Your creativity becomes natural. You stop forcing and you start flowing. And this is when reality begins to respond differently. That's why some people become unstoppable after heartbreak, or after failure, or after hitting rock bottom because something shifts inside them. They stop caring about small opinions. They stop living for validation. They stop trying to impress everyone. They enter truth. And truth is a high frequency. It's a frequency where your mind stops performing and starts creating. This is also why people who unlock genius consciousness often look delusional to others. They see possibilities others can't see. They believe in things before they exist. They move differently. They think differently. They're not afraid to be misunderstood. Because they are not tuned into the crowd, they are tuned into their purpose. And that is the secret. Reality obeys frequency. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. So what is the exact frequency that unlocks genius consciousness? It's not a number like 432 Hz or 528 Hz. Those sound frequencies are interesting, but genius consciousness is deeper than sound. It's a mental and emotional frequency. It's the state where you are deeply present, emotionally calm, mentally clear, and focused on meaning instead of approval. That is why protecting your energy is not a luxury. It's a requirement. If you want to access your genius, you don't need to become a new person. You need to protect your mind from constant low-frequency input, because your frequency is influenced by what surrounds you. If you wake up and immediately scroll your phone, your mind becomes chaotic. If you constantly listen to negativity, your brain becomes heavy. If you spend time with people who doubt everything, you start doubting too. If you keep consuming fear, your inner world becomes unstable. But if you do the opposite, if you protect your mornings, spend time in silence, journal, walk alone, reduce noise, and focus on meaningful work, you naturally rise. And as you rise, your mind opens, your creativity increases, your intuition becomes sharper, and you start receiving ideas that feel like they came from nowhere. But they didn't come from nowhere. They came from the part of you that was always there. You were just not tuned in. So here's the truth. The quantum code is not outside of you. It is the version of you that exists when you are aligned. Genius consciousness is not rare. It's just protected. It only appears when your nervous system feels safe enough to expand. And this is why healing is connected to genius. Peace is connected to success. Solitude is connected to creativity. Because genius doesn't live in chaos. Genius lives in clarity. So if you want reality to obey you, stop trying to control reality. Control your frequency. Because the moment you become coherent, the moment you stop leaking energy, the moment you become emotionally stable and mentally focused, reality begins to rearrange itself around you. Opportunities appear. People treat you differently. Your ideas become stronger. Your actions become sharper. And your life starts moving. Not because you forced it, but because you became the version of you that reality responds to. And once you taste that state, you will never want to go back. Because you will realize something that changes everything. You were never lacking talent. You were never lacking intelligence. You were never not good enough. You were simply tuned into survival, and survival is not your destiny. Genius is.